Thank you, Dr. Alok, and good afternoon, everyone. Indeed, it is a challenging session. I will not be making a joke about a post-lunch session because I think that's done to death. But what we will try to do is try and keep the conversation engaging enough that I don't need to use humor to keep you awake. My name is Maithili Roy. I head the external communications and brand for Amadeus. Amadeus is the world's largest travel technology provider. So if some of you have taken a flight to get to this event, just like I did, then the platform that helped you book the flight was built by my company. That's who we are. But I'd love to speak more about it during the course of the discussion. But I also won't spend too much time and introduce the panelists. Dr. Alok has already done that. But I want to speak a little bit about the topic itself. AI is everywhere. I think it's dominating the narrative of all kinds of industry events, all conversations, and it's something that one cannot escape. Rightly so, because it has tremendous potential. But what I'd love to explore today with this incredible lineup is, how AI is transforming marketing, customer engagement, and strategic outlook. So what would be the future? I mean, we're speaking AI now, Gen AI, we're speaking agentic AI in a lot of tech forums. What's the next buzzword that's coming our way? But before I dig into that, I also want to say that, fasten your seatbelts, because the session is not going to be a typical panel discussion. We've all conspired and put together 3 segments in this panel discussion. So we will have some serious conversations exploring how AI is going to, develop further. But we also have some quick fire questions, which allow me to put all of them on the spot. So please watch the fun. Please hang on with us. With that, I will start my conversation. The first question to each of you. What does personalization mean to you, especially in your industry? 1 line each. Please. Anvita?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Anvita Prabhakara. I've worked with British Petroleum and Castrol and a couple of other MNCs like Aditya Birla. I'm currently CMO, fractional is Coup, and I help companies go from X to Y or 0 to X. Okay, so that's who I am. Personalization in today's world, I don't think it's only relevant as of today. I think it was relevant long ago, even in our mythology. But it's even more relevant now with AI, and I think that is the buzzword, and that is the only way that we can go forward.
Thanks, Maithili. Personalization, AI personalization for me in our industry, I'm from Geo, a B2B platform, enterprise platform. For me, it's a multiplier that gives marketing an edge in this generation. Yes.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Maithili. And this is the 3rd year running, and I really wanted to compliment Dr. Alok and Dr. Bhatia for organizing this every year for us. It gets better and better. Okay, coming straight to the topic of today, AI to me is very simply, it's like your neighborhood auntie. Okay, personalization to the extent that the auntie always knows things about us, which sometimes we haven't revealed, but she has made it her business to find out. So I think personalization is very, very, very intrusive, can be, and has to be therefore very carefully guarded. But personalization, in one sentence, if you ask me, it's about capturing the rhythm of a consumer's life, not just arbit moments, but capturing the entire rhythm through the day, through the night. That's what personalization to me is.
Wonderful, thank you, and thanks, Maithili. So, hi everyone, I'm Abha Bajaj, and I am the CMO and Head of Alliances for STL Digital, an IT services arm of the Vedanta Group. So, in case of IT services, I would just, like to say that B2B marketing and for IT services, typically the deal cycles are really long. 6 to 9 months with very complex buyer personas. And through the entire buyer journey, there are multiple stakeholders, right? With a combination of decision makers, influencers, who will consume content, different content at different times. So it's very, very important for us as marketers to really understand the customer, do a 360-degree analysis of the customer, understand their behavioral data, have their intent signals. And based on all these parameters, we need to position content to different stakeholders. Now, we were doing all of these, in my last company, I did all that, and we generated a lot of leads and engagement, but it took a lot of efforts, budgets. Of course, technology was used, there was automation, but what AI has done in this realm is it has got together all these things together. Okay, and it has really empowered the marketing force, to position, to first of all capture the requirement and position the content without actually sitting in front of the customer, right? So I personally feel that, AI has empowered marketing as officially becoming the consulting arm of the sales team.
Thank you, Maithili. So I am the co-founder of CMO Alchemy. We are into B2B tech industry and we do marketing specifically for B2B tech. So in our industry or in my entire experience that I have noticed, yes, AI is kind of an amplifier which helps you and supports you. However, at the same time, to have the personalization intact and ensuring that your buyers are actually getting what they are requiring, what their pain areas are. AI may help you in understanding their pain areas, in understanding their behavior. But to have a personal touch, there is a human requirement as well. There is a human eye required at every point in time. So for me, in my business, it is more of like using AI for understanding the customer behavior, for understanding the situation of the geography's situation also, what are geopolitical situations as well, and then curating and understanding the entire insights and then giving a personalized feed or the response to the pain areas of the, the end users or the customers or the businesses that we are dealing with. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Krishneel Paris, the co-founder and director at FameKida Networks. We are essentially into influencer marketing and all things creative in terms of design and communication. So ideally, for me, the question is very wonderful actually, because I use AI on a day-to-day basis. And as marketers, we want to get into the headspace of people, right? So personalization really helps. What I feel personalization is basically to coexist and co-author. So in terms of influencers or any kind of creative out there, brands right now will have to adapt and move from just blasting, like a hyper-targeted local ad towards just random people out there. They have to now personalize their creatives to kind of understand who their customers are, where they are from, what are they searching for, what's the problem they're facing, reaching out to them at the right time, and that's where AI and personalization can really help. That's what I feel. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Anushri Sharma from Harbinger Group. So basic definition for personalization is tailoring products and services as per customer needs. You need to target what they are actually looking for. And for the company like Harbinger Group, we are into product engineering. We create products for HR tech and e-learning. So it is linked like that it doesn't matter that what is your degree, it matters what is your skill. And then we create personalized courses so that person only stick to those courses. So that kind of level of personalization we cater to, so that it is not just ticking the course and just completing the course, but it is actually what you need. So that is what personalization is in our industry. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sunil David. Since I work very closely with startups who target the manufacturing industry, I'm giving you a perspective from a manufacturing standpoint. So when you look at personalization from a manufacturing or an industrial standpoint, it is about context-aware intelligence, where you're trying to enable a process, a machine or an operator to get the right level of information at the right time to drive productivity, quality, and safety. So from a worker's perspective who's working on the shop floor, getting the right level of instructions based on his skills so that he can perform the job better. If you look at it from a machine standpoint, there are very heterogeneous machines in the shop floor. Each machine has got its own attributes. So how do you fine tune the machine? Again, there's a level of personalization there from a machine standpoint. And then when you look at from a customer standpoint, today you're talking about mass customization where you can engineer products based on a specific need of a customer, right? So there again, you can drive personalization. So this is from a manufacturing standpoint.
Right. As you can see, it's a very eclectic mix of people here. We have people from the manufacturing industry. I belong to the travel technology industry. We have a few digital platforms. So it's quite an intriguing conversation as to what marketing and branding, and especially personalization, mean in each of our industries, because B2C and B2B here is going to be quite interesting to explore. But with that, I'll begin the first segment and I'll come to you, Shrishti. You are a luxury brand consultant. How is AI actually transforming personalization in your space?
Thank you. Apart from being a luxury marketing consultant, I am also a newbie founder of a company called Drival AI. So just to moderate the discussion around that, it's a car ownership platform which allows you to, the more you drive, the more you earn. Okay, and it accompanies you with an AI companion. So more about that later. But just to answer the question from a luxury standpoint, I think it's very essential when AI or other mapping tools are collecting data. I think the very first thing which transcends not just luxury but all segments is very, very importantly consent. I think consent is the very first sort of start point. After that, the kind of data that you actually voluntarily seek. Customers, it's not as if people are averse to sharing their data. It's what they voluntarily share. And third, and very important aspect again, is what is it that we do with that data? So that's what helps us in personalization. It always must be connected to a benefit. So for example, customization or personalization, whether in terms of recommendations of offers or benefits or lifestyle cues. So these three aspects, according to me, are very, very important, irrespective whether we are collecting it from a luxury data point or in general.
Thank you. Anish, I'll come to you. What is the first real-time AI decision-making case you would switch on to turn first-party data into measurable personalization?
Sure. So as marketeers, we have a lot of data that we sit on. These data, we know who the customer is, what is he doing, which industry he represents. So for me, the first AI use case is real-time, disambiguation of intent. What we really want is if somebody lands on our website while we sell, cloud solutions, it's a B2B play. There are a lot of people from large MNCs to a small developer from a startup. Okay, so here the intent is different. A startup guy would be looking for a free cloud tier platform, while established MNC might be looking to get some more information on accelerated computing products. So what will trigger my AI use case is how well can I guess the intent and take him to the next logical step. That is not just personalizing his name or where he is from, but rather what will be the next step. So for instance, if he is looking at a white paper, my chatbot, previously it would just show before AI, same homepage, same content, same CTA. But now the CTA and the content of the homepage changes. The chatbot is smart enough, the AI chatbot, which shows that, okay, he has read this blog. Now I need to change the chatbot. The AI chatbot goes one way ahead and says that, okay, you have been looking at this white paper or this blog. Do you want more information on the pricing, or can we connect to a solutions architect? So this is where the AI trigger takes place. And post that, the measurement is, it's simple A/B testing, a generic chatbot versus an AI chatbot. How many meetings have been scheduled via both of them? If I compare, if AI chatbot is giving me more results, that's a simple, plain, calculation that AI personalization is working for me, for the customer.
Absolutely. It also brings me to an interesting aspect. So Abha, from your perspective, what has been those one or two B2B personalization tactics that you have applied and have done really well? And what space does it leave for account-based marketing and operationalizing it? Are there some guardrails you follow? What are a few of the metrics that you absolutely are unwilling to compromise on?
So, like I spoke about the IT services industry, and further, I think my friends over here have said. So, in IT services, like for example, I can, say that we are doing enterprise SaaS. So, I am doing an SAP transformation for a customer across different locations, across geographies. Okay, so these are like really complex projects. Okay, so one is that I spoke about personalization, that how do we, go to them. But I think, when I'm doing ABM at scale, okay, a very, very important part, I think, like, somebody said here that, personalization can be very, very intrusive. So one is, the most important guardrail is your consent. Right, so first thing is that I really need to have the consent, data in place. So once I have an opt-in, I think, and as marketers, we are creative enough to, say that, how we can make your experience, I mean, to say that they opt in for our services. But once we know, we actually filter out the accounts who are really looking for our services, who are genuinely trying for that. Then if I'm going to do it at scale, right, so I can really have a tiered ABM, like, I can have one-to-one, one-to-many, one-to-few, and then one-to-many. So right from 50 accounts to like 5,000 accounts, I can have a plan, right? And the metrics, what you said is like, how AI helps us, right? So we are definitely, if I have a personalized content, if it is positioned, say for example, I'll take STL Digital. So we are working for the Vedanta Group, which is a natural resources industry. So I am doing their entire IT transformation, entire SAP. So I have so many use cases and case studies about, providing IT services to a metal or mining or a oil and gas major. Right, so once I create, this is my strength, what is the cost advantage? All I need to do is, I need to identify, the natural resources companies across the world. I can layer my ABM. I can put the guardrails, right, which is content, ethical, geography. I mean, we know in India, DPDP Act, GDPR, geo-specific compliances. There are a lot of ethical issues. So I have to put all this in my engine, okay? And then at one go, we are able to really do at scale, right? So, and from a metrics perspective, of course, when I have done in the non-Gen I days, still we had like multi-million, funnel, which is actually into the CRM, as well as a lot of customer engagements. But now we are able to get that at a much, at least a 50%, high, faster. And the effort that we spend across is also, much less. So I think, right now, like I, said, ABM is definitely possible, but yes, consent first, and a lot more to through AI.
Yeah, absolutely. On the topic of metrics, I'll come to you, Anish. I have a very specific question. A lot of corporates are moving stacks towards warehouse native setups. How would you re-architect for real-time AI personalization and actually measure it?
So when you say, the stack, the CDEP that the platform we have, it's generally a historic data of the customer. We know who the customer is, what is his contract. Okay, so you have the details, which I would term it as a slow brain. What is a fast brain is my website or an app where the customer gets actually engaged. So if, let's say, a user A who is already my customer lands on a website, the architecture here comes in play, or what architecture I would like to have is, it will talk, the slow brain and the fast brain will talk to each other in milliseconds. It knows who the customer is, what is he doing. The fast brain will say, okay, he is a regular compute user. However, he is not using your backup services. So I will serve him for test case, I will serve him 2 dashboards in a control plane or, on a portal. Okay, one dashboard will show his generic computing platform, and the other would show, just a banner that, back up your VMs with just a single click. So that is where the modification or the AI use case would really come in handy, that, okay, I know the customer's history. He is not my customer for this product. While he is using a product A, I will serve him product B. And we have seen that at times it really works. And again, the test case is generic dashboard versus a more customized dashboard to the user.
Yeah, absolutely. I think upselling is something that we all run on a target for. Coming back to Shrishti, actually, and I want to touch upon a very interesting aspect. we've all spoken about metrics, the measurability of AI-driven personalization. How would you define the advantages of AI-driven personalization firstly? And what is your view on the unmeasurable side of personalization, right? There's some part of marketing and brand that you can't quantify. And those of us who studied marketing would remember that we were always told that it's not about what you sell, how you sell, it's about how you make a consumer feel. It's all about the emotion. So there is an aspect of that personalization also covers, and AI just amplifies it to another degree. I'd love to hear your views on that.
Again, from a question point of view, it's very, very interesting. But the solution is very simple in my sort of understanding. It's how we use AI. Okay, the trick lies in that. AI can get into such deeper layers of behavioral sort of aspects of data for our consumers. But it's how we use it. How we use it to make a person feel better. You know, earlier, one of the earlier sessions was about branding and marketing, making you feel better rather than just selling a product. So I think it's about outreaching to the consumer, using AI and the tools that are available to us to make it so much more personalized. You know, like a companion feel. It's somebody who knows you, who's not intrusive, who's not talking down to you, but actually helping your life become easier, less stressful, possibly in those areas. I think the measurement is in the application and the usage of the data that we use generating AI. Yeah?
Sure. Thank you. I think we'll wrap up the first segment, and what's a segment without some fun? So I have a few questions for Abha, Shrishti, and Anish. The audience, if any of you have an interesting answer, please feel free to raise your hand and chime in. Okay, I'll go to Anish first. If your brand were a sports team, what would its mascot be?
I believe it would be a cheetah, because in a dynamic world and in a fast-moving world, a cheetah is what one would want to be.
Wonderful, but you'd want it staying in the jungles, right? And not in the
Not in the jungle. Cheetahs powered by GPUs would make it more faster.
All right. Shrishti, same question.
Mine would be a rabbit, a little hair that you sort of feel, and you know, the tactile, this thing of the softness and the, that's what mine would be.
All right, Abha?
Yeah. So mine would be a chimpanzee. So our brand is about agility and experience, so and a trusted partner. So
nice. Yeah. That's an unusual choice, but it's going to stick. Maybe we can start the next one with you. One brand you think that has nailed personalization outside of your industry?
So outside of my industry, I would say Netflix. I think it will be an answer for many, but yeah. I have one more.
Same question.
Well, from a brand point of view, nothing really comes to my mind because I don't think I have too many examples that demonstrate that to me holistically.
Okay,
sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, in my opinion, it would be Spotify. Of course, it's a major of people would relate to Spotify and Netflix because they know your mood better than yourself. So.
Well said. Okay, Anish, this one's starting with you. If AI could predict your favorite sport, what would it be?
It would be F1 for sure.
Okay. Yeah, the audience seems to know Anish quite well. Shrishti, same question?
For me, it will be Stapu. I don't know how many of us, as children played with those little pebbles. So it's going back to childhood and, reimagining the joy in simple sort of sport.
Okay.
So for me, it would be badminton, because if AI has searched me, they would find out that I'm cheering for my kids playing badminton. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's lovely. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for the first segment, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, we dive into the second segment, which is actually focusing more on customer engagement and content. And in this segment, I have Krishneel and Vedehi joining me. So I'd like to start with a very quick example of travel, right? Abha spoke about consent. And travel is a space where there's consent required at every single stage. You have to share a huge amount of your data to be able to take a flight, to be able to go from one place to another. Transparency becomes extremely critical. We have to constantly wade through various GDPR rules, various border control rules across the world, to actually make travel happen. But what are some of the similar challenges that you face in your respective space? For example, Chris Neil, I'm sure there must be something to do with customer voice, ensuring that exactly what they want to say is going out there and the message is not diluted in the process. So my first question would actually be that how do you keep a creator's voice intact while still using AI to optimize it?
That's a lovely question, because for us, we have to take care of three stakeholders, right? One is the influencer, if you're working with an influencer or a content creator. There's the brand, and then there's the customer or the user who's watching the video, watching the ad. Now it has to be meaningful for all three. The best way that AI can help us and is helping us is through analyzing all the comments, what kind of videos do work as video ads, how people react to it, how many people share it, whether people also, they also comment on those video ads that it really helped us out, etc. So we use AI to analyze all of this. We use AI to also understand the influencers data in terms of what kind of impressions that the ad got, the average views, the view duration, the average view duration of the entire video. And that's how we come to know whether a particular hook has worked. Because you need to, we're living on Instagram half a day, right? So it's very hard to kind of capture that essence in 3 seconds. Right. If you can't stop the customer or the user to scroll, your ad is no more, like it's just never gonna come back, or probably gonna come back after a while. So we use AI to analyze all of these hooks. Then we use, we obviously take a lot of consent. So when we are working with a content creator or an influencer, it's embedded in the agreement itself that we are going to take consent. We're not going to use it for anything else, but just to optimize the ads so that the users in the same targeted group, they get helped more, and they're not just bombarded with some ad they don't want to watch. Yeah. Because that's the worst that you could do to your brand and also your budgets. So, the three things that we take care of is obviously consent in terms of data. We also use AI to kind of get into the guidelines that ASCI, SEBI, IRDAI, or any kind of regulatory bodies they have set. The best part is AI can go through all of those documents, check on any kind of updates that come up, and also suggest these let's say any kind of sentence that is misleading. It will identify it and it will let you know. We do that via Gemini, the transcript, the video transcript. It's very easy, it's very cheap as well. So you can do it. It gives great amount of consistency for about 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes. And that's pretty much good. So
it's quite interesting, and I'll come back to you with my follow-up question, but I'd love to know how exactly do you use AI for real-time disaster management or crisis management, right? Because in your area of work, you get real-time feedback. So do you pivot real-time? Do you have some, protocols that you follow? But I'll come back to you with that question. For now, I'll move to Vaidehi. Vaidehi, you're a CMO and a founder. We are in an age where people have stopped writing emails because there's ChatGPT, there's Gemini, there's Perplexity, there's enough and more, options. How do you actually build and maintain brand authenticity in this age of AI?
So for us at CMO Alchemy, there is a very strong and a very aligned, we are all very aligned with this rule that AI will inform and we will interpret and decide. So while AI will become our support assistant, we treat it like a personal strategic assistant. We don't give it the power to create the narrative or create the brand narrative, because it's, see, I am in a B2B tech segment, and that too with the majority of clients which are in a cloud transformation, which are partner to big companies like Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure or Oracle. So for such companies which are selling these solutions, it is very, very important to understand, while there are some set of pain areas which remain the same, you still have to be you have to understand what their pain areas are with respect to, say, let's say, geography. So every geography is different. Similarly, every company that is using these solutions are different. So while AI helps us in understanding the behavior of the customer or the business or the stakeholders of that business who will help us in getting the business, or AI will also help us in understanding how they are moving in the journey. So in this panel only, I think you mentioned that there are personalization required at every stage. In B2B, there are so many stages involved and there are different stakeholders in B2B. So you need to understand each stakeholder. So while AI will help us in creating those engines and those models, the final decision comes from a human. So for us, personalization is kind of a key where we can take suggestions from AI, but the decision has to come from us, from a human being.
People-led but AI-driven, right? So yeah, I think I pretty much resonate with that, and I must share a short example from the travel industry. It's going to be relatable for all of us. With the advent of options of sustainable travel, we have seen that a lot of people under the age of, say, 30 are not only choosing to kind of find out what is the carbon footprint of a particular flight that they have taken, they are also looking for options to hire EV taxis at their destination and spend their holidays doing activities that actually help them restore the destination. Now, what does a company like mine do in this situation? This is all the data I get. What we can do is put together the package that gives them everything in one go. So my platform, to make it available that they can actually pick and plan their entire travel right here and do these activities that they exactly wanted. Another example I can give you is of the recently opened Navi Mumbai airport. I'm sure all of us are eagerly waiting for flights to begin. We are actually the partners at Navi Mumbai and Jewar Airport, which will also be inaugurated soon. The idea is, I don't know how many of you have noticed and are using DigiYatra or no, but those of you who've been traveling for a long time will now agree that the time taken from the entry point of the airport to actually your boarding gate is just down to maybe 7 or 8 minutes on good days, right? This was quite a dream a few years ago because there were so many guardrails, so many processes to manage. What has made it happen is actually AI. The fact that we have this data available, that this person travels to a particular destination so many times in a year, this is what they prefer, they like their black coffee without sugar, for example. You know, it's possible for me to be able to have your black coffee on your seat before you get there, right? And that's the impact of AI in my industry, and travel, of course, touches every human being. So it's undeniable in terms of what the impact is going to be in the future too. But with that, I'll come back to Krishneel. Krishneel, I'd love to come back to my question about how do you actually respond to crisis in real time, right? And, sorry, just an extension to that question is also that you mentioned in your first response also that in your area of work, everything is driven by metrics and ROI. So what are the measures you undertake to maintain ROI?
Okay. So for the first question, in terms of any crisis that arises, for us it's usually if the video is non-compliant to guidelines set by ASCI, SEBI, IRDAI, or any kind of government-regulated body that takes care of a particular product, like a financial product, for instance. So we make sure that the content creators that we work with do not really mislead people in terms of promising any kind of returns or money or profit if it's the financial product. So AI ideally understands all these guidelines. They can also transcribe the content word to word and then also highlight the pointers that are really misleading. So that way, the cases that we usually get in terms of reports have drastically reduced. And even content creators, for that matter, now are much more aware when they're creating content, they run the script through AI in order to make sure that it's, because then they get these, all the complaints, right? In terms of the users, who are basically the consumer of the content, they really, right now, most of the research is kind of backed. So if it's a brand, if it's a content creator, if they're giving out any kind of numbers here and there, right? It's backed by AI. So there's less chances of people getting misled online, which is a very great thing. And in terms of any kind of crisis, what I usually do is I run this entire prompt on ChatGPT and then ask ChatGPT, what should I do next? In some cases, ChatGPT ideally tells me consult a lawyer and also gives me a very good in-detail explanation as to what I need to do right now. Basically, take these measures and then consult a legal team. So I think it's pretty fair in that part. And for the second question, where you're saying, I'm
ROI.
sorry, for the ROI, right? A lot of brands technically only chase ROI because I get it, like it's business, right? You want to earn money out of what you're spending on ads. But ROI in its intrinsic value comes only and only if someone is awed or someone would, watch your ad and it speaks out to them, and then only they would go and take out an action, right? So what we usually do is we use AI to identify the hooks, to identify, whether this ad is working in 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 25 seconds, etc. Whether it's not repetitive, because what usually a lot of marketers do is they find one particular video that is working out very well out there, and then they just copy paste that same template. It's good for the first 15 days. After that, everyone knows about it. So you always got to come up with something new. So what we do with AI is we use that template and then ask AI to come up with new concepts.
Yeah.
And we use Claude ideally because Claude is very good at writing content, coming up with something new. So we are launching our own platform next month with the name Fame Dash. So we use all sorts of AI integrations, different models. We've also created our own. We are also using a lot of APIs via n8n to automate a lot of process. So the time taken ideally, which he rightly said, has been reduced by 50%.
Yeah.
For us, it is 70%, 75%,
So it's
very
a
nice.
Combination of time saved, content optimized, and the metrics that you receive in terms of views, etc.
Yeah, literally everything.
Yeah.
Very less error, very less
Sure.
margin of error.
Sure. Vaidehi, that brings me to another interesting aspect which we haven't touched upon yet. So what is actually the impact of AI-driven personalization on loyalty? What has been your experience?
So, before I give you an answer on the loyalty and what it means to me, it is very important to understand. I'll ask a question. A few years ago, when either of you was searching anything, or let's say you were searching a pair of shoes, or searching anything, or you want to make a travel, or you want to go somewhere, what were you doing? Where were you going? Search engines? Yeah. Right? Now, where are you going? AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, all these platforms, right? So, personalization comes first, but before that, what comes is we are right now as marketers, what I have noticed in CMO Alchemy when I joined them is that there is a very common, you will relate to it, there's a very common keyword called AI in marketing, which each one of us is using in one or the other capacity. But there is also AI marketing. AI marketing is basically, previously also we were writing and talking and working for the algorithms, but for search engines. Now we are also working for the algorithms that these AIs are probably using so that you can get listed to the questions of your customers who are asking to AI, right? So how you can do it, that's answer in engine optimization in simple terms. So if you are able to tap that, if you are able to understand your customer behavior, if you are able to understand what they are actually looking for and how you are giving value consistently. So in my experience at CMO Alchemy, we have been working on this for a very long time, and from the beginning I was very much emphasizing on it has to be consistent. The value has to be very consistent, what my company provides and what value it is providing to the customer, what it is solving. If you continuously do that, you will automatically get into the answers of the AI.
Right.
That's what we have experienced.
Sure.
So once you are there, so people are now trusting AI more.
Absolutely.
Over going and looking into the number of links that they are searching and getting on the search engines. So if you are there, then the first step of loyalty will comes in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So loyalty is more of kind of an outcome
Yeah.
of the efforts that marketers are putting in.
Sure. And I mean, if you give a customer what they want, they stick.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. So,
Exactly.
All right. In the interest of time, I'll move quickly to the quick fire. Time to put you guys on the spot. Food and branding go hand in hand. What's the one dish that represents your brand? Vaidehi. Yeah.
Golgappa. Spicy, and yet you cannot just give up. You have to
Nice.
ask for the next.
Nice.
I would go with sushi.
Sushi.
It's an
Okay.
acquired taste.
Well said. If your brand had a Netflix series, what would the title be?
I call it Suits,
Okay.
where I am the Mike, the other co-founder is Harvey.
Nice.
Sorry, can you repeat?
If your brand had a Netflix series, what would the title be?
Okay. I would go with 2.5 Men, I guess. Yeah, because we have
Interesting
to-
choice.
Yep, yeah, because it's content, right? Like,
Yeah.
So we have to come up with really good concepts.
Nice. All right, the final one. Personalization in music. What's your go-to playlist for creativity?
For me, I don't talk about the co-founder, but for me, it will always be...
The co-founders are husband, by the way.
Yes, my husband, who's taking care of the kids right now. So for me, it will be a list of Krishna bhajans.
Okay.
It keeps me calm.
Sure. Christine?
For me, it would be a mix of pop
Okay.
and rock.
All right. Awesome. Round of applause for the segment 2, please. And we have 3 panelists very patiently waiting for their turn. So please allow them some speaking time too. This is the 3rd segment where Anushri, Anvita, and Sunil are joining us. And we're going to be speaking about AI and strategy and future outlook. So remember, we spoke about what would be the next big buzzword. Let's hope that we find that out in this segment. But with that, I will start with Anushri. So Anushri, personalization isn't new. Marketers and technologists have chased it for years. What fundamentally changes according to you when AI enters the equation?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Okay, let me explain this shift. Like traditional marketing gave you a tailored custom fit suit, and AI in marketing gives you a personal stylist. It's very easy to understand, because personal stylist understands your taste, your mood, what you intend to wear, why you want to wear, something like that. So that's a basic shift, a basic answer to the thing. Next is, it's about intent intelligence. It's like, what is the user intended right now? What do he or she wants right now? That is the basic shift what AI gives you. And the third one is in real time. Traditional personalization was about yesterday's data. It's about, okay, that day you bought this, so this is something which you should take. But it's right now, AI in personalization gives you real-time thing. Why I'm here right now. So that is there. And one more important point which AI in personalization is bringing is agentic AI. It's like autonomous agents, which you have already trained and everything, and they are giving, and they are actually telling autonomously that, okay, this is something which you should follow. So these are the basic things, or the basic difference of AI and personalization, which is bringing right now. Yeah.
Very nice. Sunil, if I can ask you, from the manufacturing sector, can you cite a couple of examples where AI-driven personalization has actually impacted and real-time impact on the manufacturing sector? So any examples that come to your mind?
Yeah, sure. So earlier I mentioned about the fact that today an operator or a shop floor worker today can get instructions based on his skill and competency. And that's actually happening in Foxconn, which is one of the largest manufacturers of iPhones in India. There they map these competency skill level of the person, and basis which they're able to get a digital overlay thanks to augmented reality. So human and AI working in conjunction, and operators working on a machine, handling autonomous mobile robots, material handling equipment. And thanks to this, they will be able to reduce errors by almost 18%. So that's one example I wanted to give you. And one very quick example, just wanted to highlight automotive industry. And in automotive industry, as you know, it's very, very competitive. So many major brands which is trying to gain market share and vying for our attention. We are seeing most of these auto OEMs now today, the basis of differentiation is just not mileage and all that. It is connected features of a car.
Yep.
The level of technology that you can drive vehicles are becoming a lot more software defined. And I know of a few brands which are trying to see how they can make sure that they can offer you a comfort inside the car where the air conditioning gets adjusted based on your thermal comfort, music is played based on your moods, and so on and so forth, right? So
Yeah.
there are brands today working on that to really create differentiation.
Amazing. Anvita, a very interesting aspect of marketing is building a minimum viable plan, right? So how have you used AI to be able to integrate personalization with sales and marketing?
Sure. So I think you hit the nail on the head, because that's exactly where we come in terms of whenever there's a problem, whenever there's stagnation in the business, whenever there is a plateauing of the business is where we come in. Point number one, I'll give you an example what we did. There was this company, and they were into apparel business, they were into baby clothes, they were into B2B. So essentially they were supplying your baby clothes to Pantaloons and all the malls, right? So they are a company which was 40 years into the business, third generation. They had about 800 salespeople, okay, and COVID happened, right? Now, they 40 years in the business, and they haven't even named their company. It's some Lakshmiji, whatever, Lakshmiji, those kind of proprietary name. And that's when they realized, oh my God, all the malls are shut. And what do we do with so much stock? What do we do with so many employees? And that's when, I was reached out to with my team. And that's when we realized that one, of course, at the start, we didn't start off with AI. We started with really getting down to the basics and wondering, okay, what do we do with the malls being shut? So in terms of trying to understand in their stock of the baby clothes, male and female, what were the products that were selling. So, we went into deep down analysis, and then we had to kind of reinvent the business, because obviously the malls were not opening up immediately. So they had to go to B2C, essentially go to your smaller retail stores. And there is actually where we started employing AI, where we started digging into the kind of products and then also predicting their pricing model. And we were getting, I wouldn't say live, because that's not relevant in this particular industry, like the way Chris mentioned, but we definitely started getting weekly reports into kind of understanding which are the products that sell. And we didn't limit ourselves to only Diwali discounts and New Year discounts. We obviously went, weekly kind of analysis. And the other thing that we also did is, because they had about 4 factories across the country manufacturing the stock. So we also went, like Sunil, you mentioned, like on the shop floor, efficiencies, we kind of streamlined the efficiencies. We saw where we could kind of reduce the products which are not really running right now, some of the styles that were not running. And very happy to say that over the course of about 3-4 years, as in 2 years of COVID and then post that, is that we not only gained business, we not only, and of course then the malls opened, of course, so they could go back to the old business. So they not only went from B2B to B2C, reinventing, essentially. Personalization became a synonym for reinventing for them. We also went into different sectors. You mentioned cross-selling or upselling. We went into women clothes and women shoes and bags. So from just being a baby clothes supplier, that's the right word, supplier, they became a brand, and we helped them do that. And AI helped us through this entire course, not just with branding and not just with the e-commerce. We had to start from setting up their website. It was that basic. To today, their e-commerce and all of that came into place. And of course, the factory. So back-end and front end. So when I mentioned in my first answer, personalization being there in mythology, I wasn't being funny there, because or rather, I was being funny. When we have Kunti producing her Pandavas, she did personalize her 5 sons, right? Gandhari didn't personalize. So who won? Very clearly. So that's what we did.
Yeah, well said. Good. All right. So, Anushri, I would like to touch upon this aspect of AI is transforming experiences, transforming how we work, how we think, industries. But what are the skills that professionals who need to learn to use AI need to get on board with? Is there a mindset change that needs to happen? What kind of skills should professionals go after?
Good questions, because we have a mix of crowd, students and professionals, so it's really helpful. And we have Sir also here. He taught me actually. So in this, the basics are not going to change. Let me be very clear. You have to be there where your customers are. You should understand in and out about your customer, and that is the basics of marketing. This is not going to change with AI, without AI or whatever. But yes, that's the fact also, that AI is going to be here. If you consider it as a monster, it's fine. If you consider as a genie, it's fine, whatever. But it is going to be there. So better AI plus human collaboration. That you need to know. You need to go through this thing. AI plus human collaboration is very, very important. And for this, as I said, basics not going to change. You need to understand. But you also need to understand what your partner or AI is good at. What good things AI can do. You should understand. You should feed that kind of data or training to AI. So you should understand algorithm. I'm not saying marketers should become technical. They should do coding. But you should know what to train, why to train, and how to train your algorithms. That is important, so that you are not fooled by the developers or the things, and then you get the best results. So that is going to be there. Last, I would like to quote one important thing from Steve, Apple founder, that you need to be close to your customer, so close that before they realize what they want, you tell that this is something you want. So that's how you need to go through. Yeah, thank you.
I think well said. And
I-
we've spoken. Sorry. Yes, please, Sunil.
Just wanted to take
Sure.
a shot at the
Sure.
answer. Just to add to what you mentioned, since I just did a session for a group of software professionals on this aspect about how to be future ready, and for the professionals in terms of how do you work with AI, just 3 points. One is the need for obviously continuous learning. Second is the importance of curiosity, questioning status quo. And third is what I call as agentic thinking, to be a lot more proactive. So when you combine learning, curiosity with agentic thinking, then I think it sets you up well to be a future-ready marketer.
Very well summarized. That brings me to the last question, actually, to Anvita. We've spoken a lot about the benefits of AI, but I'm sure there are some loopholes, right? Security, privacy, the huge amount of data that needs to be kind of, managed. It all comes at a cost. There's a carbon footprint attached to it. But what I'd like to ask Anvita is that, are there 1 or 2 examples that you can share of situations where when business growth plateaus, how exactly has AI come to the rescue? How has AI been able to up the business again?
Interesting. So let me just give you examples to kind of simplify. So I was a corporate. I'm probably still working with corporates. So when you're on a salary and when you're not, and when you're not on a salary, there's a whole world of difference. So more than ROI, ROMI becomes very critical, okay, which is return on the marketing investment, right? So the CEO is very thrilled to talk to you. The founder is very thrilled to talk to you. But he's like, madam, at the end of the day, if I'm spending 3 lakhs with you per month or 5 lakhs with you per month, what's the return on the marketing budget that I'm getting, that I'm putting in the thing? So for us, that becomes very critical, and one of the easiest ways, that our teams are doing, and I'm saying, because it's a formula that we've failed at, and then it's succeeded over the last 7 years, which is a very, very cute sounding term, and there's so much jargon these days, which is MVP, which is minimum viable plan. But when I'm sure Maithili, you and all of us will kind of relate that it's basically just a very fancy term for pilot testing, right? So it's just pilot testing, right? So that's just an easy way of doing it. And for us, if I have to give you examples, so there are two problems actually with the kind of clients that I work with. And Sunil, again, I think you will relate to what I'm saying, because we work with both startups and established companies. Now, stagnation will happen with established companies. Taking off is a problem with startup companies, or they'll reach a certain point and they don't know how to scale up from there. So that's where the MVP really makes a difference in both the scenarios, right? So just giving you one example, a very simple example, which was this B2B, again, B2B electrical space. Ex-Schneider people got out and, started, they obviously used their Schneider knowledge and their network, and they, set up this B2B retail business. So, and budgets. So they come with the Schneider backdrop, so they want everything at 1 rupee, right? So how do you do that? So basically what we said is, sir, let's keep our horses low, and the 4 founders, all of you in 4 directions, all of you come together. We'll start with Bangalore. So you started the MVP or the pilot testing straight with Bangalore. And obviously, because it was a B2B electrical space, so there's a lot of back and forth feedback that we get from, and electrical space is largely dominated by your Marwadi community. They're very good with negative feedback, with no offense, but they're very good. Sir, aap ye nahi dete, wo nahi dete, but they're very, very conducive with positive feedback. So which actually worked for us, right? So they gave us all the negative feedback, which we went back and said, thank you. We didn't need to hire a research team. Thank you very much. So that kind of worked for us. And then once we launched in Bangalore and we learned our mistakes, we got the feedback, then we kind of established and went forward to the rest of Karnataka, Bombay, and Delhi. So I think an MVP, which includes and answering, coming back to the very specific point of AI here, in this industry, it made a lot of difference because it was an app that we launched. So basically it was like Amazon. So the electrical guys could just order any of their 200 plus brands from us with a phone call, and we would deliver it to them. So everything was online. So everything in terms of, there's no website, we just did an app, and we could get live feedback in terms of which products are running, which brands are running, tube lights, fans, wires, whichever. And what is the pricing that they want, and what's the overall wholesale discount they want, what's the break even that we could give them. So all of that we used AI, and I think it really, and of course we did the offline thing. I'm not saying that we went only online. We did your regular retail meets, and like Anushri said, basics are basics. So no matter how much AI and whatever next will come in the next 5 years, basic reaching out to your customer, like us face to face. We could have done this on a Zoom call, but we're all here. So similarly, reaching out and doing those basic retail meets, basic distribution meets anyway stay. So I think a combination of offline or online will work always.
Absolutely, and I can only sum it up with a very relatable example of the pandemic in 2020. Like the travel industry was the worst affected. The first time ever in the history of the travel industry, we saw 0 revenues for the month that the worldwide lockdown was announced. And there was a lot of buzz in the industry saying, oh, travel is the worst affected. But it was the backing of AI and our confidence in AI that always told us that while we are the worst affected industry or the first affected industry, we will also be the first ones to recover. And that's exactly how it happened, right? The data and the intelligence is actually a gold mine that you can process and reuse well when the time is right. So with that, thank you so much. It's time to put the last 3 panelists on the quick fire spot. I'll start with you, Anvita. If AI were a superhero in your industry, what would its superpower be?
So I am industry agnostic currently because I work, me and my teams work across industries. I would say Wonder Woman, not the gender part of it, but simply because she can just pick up any tool and just get really good at it. So pick up the wall, hit somebody, but so essentially Wonder Woman.
I don't know about the super man or woman or having the skills, but I think mind reading.
Okay.
That will be helpful.
Sure. Sunil?
I think for me it's understanding customer behavior. I don't think anyone of us has figured out that yet.
Yeah.
But if AI was a superhero, I really wish we could really understand what the customers want and really understanding customer journeys.
Yeah. All right. One futuristic personalization idea you'd love to see in travel, retail, or any other industry. We can start with you, Sunil.
Yeah, so if I'm shopping online or if I'm even doing offline shopping, I wish the app would tell me that, hey Sunil, this is an impulsive purchase. You really don't need this.
I will never go by this. My husband will be happy, but I won't be.
What's your answer?
Can you please again repeat?
One futuristic personalization idea you'd love to see in travel, retail, or your industry.
See, I would like that I need not to take any leaves. My digital twin is sitting at the office and I go and travel. So I'm looking forward for that kind. Please make this something. Yeah.
So I would want to answer this not as a marketer but as a customer. I think anything and everything that I search, I don't want 10 options for it. Like something I just searched for my friend, yeah, like it's okay. So that's not so much personalization.
Sure, but a valid ask, I think. We're spoiled for choice in these times. Okay, if you had to explain AI personalization to a 10-year-old in one sentence, what would it be?
To a 10-year-old. What you want, how you want, where you want, when you want. That's AI for you.
10-year-old are more knowledgeable than us, I think.
For sure.
So I don't think so. I need to tell, but in a simple word, it's like genie.
Okay.
Right? You rub that genie comes with snacks and your favorite sports and everything before you even rub the lamp. So it's like that.
Okay. Sunil?
I think for the 10-year-old, it's like a smart dost. Just treat it as a friend. Yeah, it's a smart friend. It will tell you what you want, when you want it, and why you really need it.
Okay, great. I have a 12-year-old son, and the first thing I would say to him is that first, make up your mind on what you want, because personalization can only happen when you know exactly what you want. Okay, with that, thank you. Big round of applause for the third segment. And this is my closing line. We'll try to keep it extremely short, but the final question, it's a prediction challenge. All of the panelists can answer this, please. In 2030, personalization will be dash.
With me? I'm guessing with all trends, and it's going to be an unpopular answer, with all trends that keep coming back, starting from fashion and bell bottoms and all of that, I'm guessing we'll go to a stage where there is no more personalization. It's going to be generic.
I think it would be more than what today we are personalizing. It would be kind of, if you're not personalizing, you're not in business.
For me, it's very simply, it's Jarvis.
Yeah, so you said 2030? Yes. Okay. So I think the way with which AI, new platforms and tools are coming, and it is going crazy. So even the makers of AI do not know where it is going and what is the monsters they've let it out. So I think it'll all move to very responsible AI, and yeah. So personalization, I don't know, it'll be done with maybe.
Well, in my opinion, I think there are two words. Personalization will be everything yet spoiled, yet exploited, because there will be too much of information.
I think for me, it would literally tell me what I want if I'm thinking about it. I think 2030 you said, right? Yeah.
In every 2 days, we are getting so many AI tools. I don't know about 2030. But yeah, I think more and more tools. And that's it, I think. Yeah. And even, I think he's right, telling what you want, because half of us, they don't know what we want. So, yeah.
The thought just came to me because I just saw this, personalization with purpose.
Well, thank you to our audience, and thank you to each of the panelists. I think the buzzword that has come to my mind, at least after this conversation, is that the next wave is going to be intuitive AI. Because AI is going to predict what we want and tell us exactly what we want, and perhaps even predict our future. So thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you to each of the panelists. Thank you.